in a comfortable seated position. We're going to do a little bit of a meditation this morning at the start. Nothing wacky, don't worry. But to do that, the first thing we have to do is connect with our breath. So on the 8 limbs of of yoga, pranayama is the 4th limb. After asanas, after our poses, once we've got them handled, then we're supposed to then control our breath. And once we've got that sorted, we then move on to meditation, because meditation is what yoga is moving towards always. So we're going to do a little bit. It's very easy, very simple. You wouldn't even know you meditated if I didn't tell you first. So find wherever you're comfortable sitting, because that's why easy pose was invented. It was so that you could sit and prepare for the meditation. So if cross-legged isn't your thing this morning or any other time, always feel you can change and you can kneel, or you can sit the way I sat the other day there, or you can sit in a block or something if it makes you feel a little bit more raised and elongated, because the idea is to have a nice long spine, long body, so that we can do the breath control practice properly. So this one's called all in hands. So we're looking at our hands this morning. So just do that for a second. Pop your hands out in front of you. Don't look at them very often. They do an awful lot for us, our hands, but they're just kind of attached there and they do their own thing. So have a look at your hands front and back. As I look at mine, I see my mother's now. That's a funny old thing. As you get older, your hands change into somebody else's. So just look at your hands front and back. And then close your eyes and see if you can still visualize your hands there. And then pop them on your knees just to rest them for a second and find your breath and watch what's happening with your breath this morning. Notice whether you're breathing quickly or maybe your inhale, exhale is slightly different lengths. Begin to breathe in and out of your nostrils if they're available to you this morning. If they're not, you can use your mouth, but mainly we breathe through the nose, remember. And from your sit bones up to your crown, find that long front and back body feeling. So lift out of your sit bones, find a little bit of more space around your waist. Lift your heart slightly up and forward. It's very, very, very slight back bend feeling then. So your shoulders draw back onto your body. Actually, it's not a back bend. All it is we're very rounded most of the time. And then tuck the chin back and find that long back of neck feeling. And then start to control your breath. So we're working to your count of 4 on the inhale, your count of 4 on the exhale. Just gently start to breathe through your nostrils, counting to 4 as you breathe in. Try not to gasp the breath though, try to make it flow evenly. You want to control the breath, not it to control you. So if there's any sense of panic or discomfort or something you're not sure of, just go back to breathing, it'll do it for you. On the inhale, draw the breath down towards your belly as far as you can. And the exhale, draw it up through from the belly, up through the spine, out through the nostrils. So working at your own pace and rhythm, inhaling down through, right down to your sit bones. Feel the spine lift and open as you do that. Exhaling, softening as you, like an accordion almost, squeeze the breath gently out of you from the bottom upwards. And then open your eyes again, bring your hands in front of you, flexing your wrists, so you're looking at the back of your hands. We're going to work with the breath here. So we inhale and the breath goes down the way. So as you do that, when you inhale, take your hands down the way, watching them. As you exhale, bring the hands up as the breath moves upwards through you. So stretch your arms away as far as comfortable. It's a bit of shoulder work, it's a bit early, so just draw the shoulders back. Make sure you've got some strength in the shoulder girdle to lift your arms up and down. So you're inhaling, you're moving the hands down the way because the breath is moving downwards inside you. Exhaling, you're lifting the hands up the way and watching the hands at the same time. So try and take the mind off the breath once you get the pattern, and just watch your hands then with breath. I'm going a little bit quicker because I'm not actually breathing. Well, I'm breathing, but I'm not breathing. As I talk, I can't really do the breath practices, so it's quite slow what you would be doing. Inhaling down, exhaling up with the hands. So inhaling, the breath goes down, the hands go down. Exhaling, the breath goes up through you, the hands come up with you. Carol, sorry, this is straight into shoulder stuff here. Take it gently. If you fold your elbows slightly, it's not quite so strong on the shoulder girdle. Bit late in telling you that one. And then bring the hands back down. Just have a little circle through your shoulders gently, just release them off any tension we built up there. Bring your hands now into prayer hands, into Anahata Mudra. So we're bringing them in here to prayer or hearts, hands, gratitude seal. So thinking of placing the palms together, but there's still that little space between your palms, even when you press against the heel of the hand and the pads of the knuckles of the fingers, you still have that little gap, like the arch of your foot between your hands. And then place your fingers, make sure your fingertips are even, looking at them as you do that. Bringing in the thumbs towards your fingers so that they're close to your index finger. And then breathe in as you press the hands together gently. And then as you exhale, just soften slightly. So as you breathe in, you'll feel the shoulder girdle opens on the back of your body, and there's that space between your shoulder blades opens up. As you exhale, that should move slightly together. So try and find your breath and work with the breath again. So inhaling, pressing the hands together, opening up the back of the body. Exhaling, releasing and softening slightly. The hands come slightly further apart. A couple of fun facts while we're doing this one. And we're looking at our hands. And I've got Gary is an ex-nurse as well, so I might get some of these wrong, Gary, but please don't point it out. Okay. 27 joints in each hand and wrist. So we have 8 carpals, which are in a wrist. You might have heard of carpal tunnel syndrome. Some of you might even have had it. That's when a nerve is trapped in that area. So the carpals are the wrist bones and joints. 5 metacarpals, these are in the hands. So as you're pressing your palms together, that's the bones you can feel in the palms and the hands area, 5 metacarpals. And then 14 phalange bones. Phalanges always reminds me of Friends, and Phoebe decided that was her new name, but that's going back a bit. So phalanges in your fingers and thumbs, you've got tiny little bones in there. As you press your fingers together, you can probably feel that they're not all, there's joints in there moving as well. So 27 joints, 27 bones. And what we're doing now as well with our hand, we're connecting our right and left brain by pressing our right and left hand together. We're bringing in an energy circle. If you look at it, it's like a closed electric circuit. So as you press into your hands, feel the energy from one moving into the other and vice versa. The energy moving up through your arms to your shoulders. Okay, so your shoulders are probably saying, let go now. Just gently allow your hands to come down. Have a wiggle through your wrists, fingers, have a little shake out. And then we're going to, hands down this time, we don't need to keep them up, but bring them into Hakini Mudra. So Hakini Mudra is when we place all the fingertips together. And it's in that sort of open church sort of thing like this. You see Prince Charles doing it a lot. It's a power mudra, this one actually. And you will see a lot of politicians, etc., using this. Spot them the next time and think that's a Hakini Mudra. And it's supposed to bring a sense of confidence and power into the person when you do this. So just gently pressing the fingers together. Again, as you inhale, press the fingers together open up the palms, spread the webbing through the fingers and contract the back of the hand. You're flexing a little bit there. Exhale, come back into open fingers, just still with fingertips touching. So inhale, you're pressing the hands together. Exhale, you're releasing them. Watch your hands as you're doing this. Another couple of fun facts while we're at this one. Keep breathing, keep that nice long flow going. Keep thinking of the breath moving with the hands and the hands moving with the breath. So no two people have the same fingerprints. No two people have ever been found to have the same fingerprints. Even identical twins who have almost 100% DNA that's the same, no fingerprints are the same. It's a chance of, now I've got two measurements here, a chance in 1 in 64 trillion or 1 in 64 billion. There's a zero difference here, quite a big difference, but whichever it is, there's a huge chance that you will never find anybody, or they will never find anybody with the same fingerprints. And each finger and thumb, and the palm of your hands, and the sole of your foot, and the tips of your toes, have got individual fingerprints. So not any fingerprint on you, or palm print, or sole print, is the same either. Everything is different. You are completely individual and unique and stamped on with these. So then release the hands. Have a little fist in and open. So looking at the hands again in front of you. You can draw your elbows in, it just gives you a bit of support through the shoulders again. But releasing and opening your hands. So you've got 34 muscles are working there in each hand, and over 100 tendons and ligaments. But as you're doing this and curling your fingers up and down, you have no muscles in your fingers. Technically, the movement in the fingers are from 3 muscles in your forearms. So if you look at the back of your wrist now, as you squeeze your palms, your hands in, just squeeze them in and hold and look. You might can see something else that's quite interesting, which we've got a test for in a minute. So this test would be, if you can't see what I'm saying in a second, by just squeezing your wrist. But if you squeeze your fingers in rather, and then just slightly flex your wrist to your hand coming towards you, you might can see in the middle here is a lumpy tendon. If you can't quite see that, the other test is to put your hands into, clasp them like this, which is another mudra, and then pull the hands, and you might then can see. So this middle tendon here, we've got 3 tendons which are folding the fingers. This middle tendon, it's called palmaris longus. And it's missing in 15% of the global population. They don't know why. More females than males are missing it. You might have it in one wrist, you might not have it in the other, so give it a test and see. And it varies hugely between ethnic groups, which is quite interesting too. And it does appear to be hereditary. So palmaris longus, something you can do with your grandkids, see who's got what. Another 3 or 4 fists. And we're talking here about another concept to do with the curling of the fingers. You might notice as people get older, their fingers curl. Probably not yogis, because we tend to exercise our hands and fingers a lot more than other people do. So they stay strong, but often you'll see old people, the fingers start to curl in. And this is called Viking's disease. And it's due to the fact that the fascia just under the skin in the palm of the hand starts to thicken. And as it thickens, it tightens and shortens, and the hands curl up. So all this stuff that we do with our hands, opening the pads of our hands all the time, stretching our fingers, is keeping that health in your hands. And whoever thinks about keeping their hands healthy, but we should. Keep your hands healthy. Okay, so we're going to move in a second. I'm going to come off my block. So now, a little bit of fun while we did the breath practice. Maybe the breath practice went to the side, but we were concentrating on something. So not quite a formal meditation, but on that vein. Wrist circles, finger flicks, see if you can flick every finger separately. Can you bend every finger separately? So bend both your pinkies at the same time. Bring your hands in front of you. Watch what happens with your ring finger, because it goes with it. Then bend your ring finger, but your pinky doesn't get involved. Well, not in my case. Bend your middle fingers. Bend and straighten. Index finger, bend and straighten. Thumbs. See if you can circle your thumb. So another little thing, do some handshakes, open the webbings, but thinking of your thumbs here, one more fact, this open thumb here, this skin here, is called the thenar web space. We have had web spaces long before there was some. So the thenar web space is this piece of skin. And an interesting thing is that they can test kids and what their muscle strength and fine motor skills are going to be by looking at the health and the movement of this skin when they're young and doing fine motor skills. So that's a point that you would never think of looking at. How they find these things is really interesting. So the thenar web space here, I can't tell you how to test the grandchildren on that one, though, I'm afraid. Gary might can. Okay, so let's move now. Let's come over onto all fours. And we will need at some point you'll need your block near you, so make sure it's not too far away from me. Okay, so into all fours, and just pad your hands in all fours. Find your alignment, find your knees under your hips first of all, feet going back. Find that long spine, draw the tummy up to support the lower back, draw the chin in to support the head. Padding the hands one at a time, just lifting them off the floor. And then pop the hands both in the floor and rotate the inner elbows, as I often cue when we're doing things like plank. So roll your inner elbows forward. And as you do that, watch what's happening in your wrist and maybe in your hand, but it's more in your wrist. What we're doing is crossing the two bones in the forearm. And it makes that so much stronger for when you're doing shoulder work and using weight-bearing stuff on your hands. So try and remember when we do that sort of stuff to roll the inner elbows forward, and you can feel it stronger, that connection. With the elbows forward, see if you can pad your hands, see if you can feel a difference. Feels much more contained, I think. Okay, so then start to do some cat-cows. I'm going to go straight into dynamic, but if you want to do a couple of cat-cows before you go into dynamic cat-cow. So inhale in neutral and long spine. Exhale, start to roll up into cat. Keep the hands arms long, sorry. Sit your tailbone backwards, coming towards child's pose almost, and then elbows come down to the floor if they can, or a little bit higher. Drawing the heart along the mat, bringing yourself up and finding yourself in cow. So we're exhaling back into dynamic, take it nice and slowly. Enjoy that stretch through the side bodies, through the spine. Elbows come down, you begin the in-breath, or the in-breath begins as you start to move. Moving forward into cow. So cow, we're tipping the tail up, tipping the head up slightly, not crunching the neck though. One more backwards into cat, really thinking lifting the heart up, nice extension through the armpits and shoulders there. Begin the in-breath as you drop the elbows, draw the heart forward as far as you can before you have to roll up through the arms and come into your cow back. This time we're going backwards and we're coming forwards into half plank. So your hands should be in the right position and extended here. Drawing up and drawing forward over your hands. So your shoulders now should be over your hands. You might find you've gone back into tabletop and you need to set your hand about a palm size forward and then bring your shoulders forward to over your wrist. So you're then in half plank. Drawing the tummy up and tucking the bottom so that we're in a little bit of a tail tuck there. And drawing the neck up by tucking the chin. And lengthening through the back of the neck, not crunching the head upwards. We want to feel the crown is pointing forward and the tail is pointing down towards your knees. Roll the inner elbows if you haven't already forward. Feel that strength and support from that. Press gently into your hands and see if you can just lift a little bit more. Get a bit of rebound from there. Keep that tummy tucked. And then settle back into child's pose extended. The hands might have to drag along a little bit with you. Sit your tailbone back down onto your heels and just breathe. If your head can't quite reach, we're not here for long, so you can bring your forearms in if it's easier and pop your head on your hands. The idea is to try and keep the bottom down and not the head down. So if the head comes up, that's okay. Try and keep the bottom back down. I don't quite get my bottom back down to my heels, but that's partly because of my thighs and my calves being quite muscly. So it doesn't always need to be right back sitting down. I would be forcing it if I did. And then extend out again as far as you can in child's pose. Bring the hands forward. And we're going to raise up and come back into half plank or move into full plank now. So tuck the toes if you're going full plank. Roll the heels backwards and come up to full plank. So roll the heels backwards, extends the legs, switches them on, switch the tummy on, tuck the bottom. Draw the shoulder blades together on the back of your body. And then think about your hands and your arms and your wrists. So pressing carefully into your hands to lift you that little bit higher, making sure you've got the elbows rolled forward. Tuck the chin to help support that heavy old 7-kilogram head. Breathe. Looking at that spot just ahead of your hands in the middle on your mat. And then carefully, elbows close to the body. Soften yourself carefully, come down to the mat. Untuck the toes. Where are we going now? We're going back into child's pose. So from here, push up, sit back, come back into child's pose. Bring your hands in with you this time, bring the elbows under the shoulders. Head to the floor as I say if you can. If not, pop a brick there, it might be easier. And then we're just walking one hand like we did the other day there, out at a time. So on fingertips, we walk one arm forward, and then as it walks back, try to walk the other arm forward. Quite hard to do both at once. If you want to do one arm at a time, then that's fine. Do one arm, bring it back, then do the other. But otherwise, try and concentrate on the fingertips, walking. Always reminds me of, I don't know if anybody can remember Michael Bentine's Potty Time and the little men that used to run around. I don't know why I think of that when I do these fingertip things. I think it's a noise they used to make. So bringing the hands back in. Bring yourself up onto your elbows, have your wrists, give your wrists a little rotation, lift your hands off the floor, elbows on the floor. Give your wrists a little rotation. And then come up to tabletop again. In tabletop, we're going to take our hands forwards here. So moving into your right hand and both knees, we're going to walk the fingers again along the floor, which is as extended as is comfortable. And then hand to the floor, flex the wrist so that you're just on the base of your wrist then on the floor. And then inhale and lift that hand in that position. A little bit different from what we do normally. We're normally not flexed. Hold there in flexed position and breathe. Flex the hand and then flex the wrist in the other direction. So bend the hand down. Keeping the arm up at shoulder height if you can as you do this. So it's quite strong on the other hand. We're focusing on folding and flexing that upper arm, or wrist rather, but think about this supporting hand now. Press gently into it, see if you can get a little bit more support from it. Use the pads of your knuckles, use the heel of your hand, spread your fingers, and then bring that arm down. Sit back again and have a little wrist circle of the one that you've just been using as your support, so my right hand. Just release it a little bit, a lot of strength work. My wrists were really weak before I started doing yoga regularly, and now they're solid as a rock. I used to get a lot of pain in them when I tried to do support work. Really, really makes them healthy, yoga. Makes you strong. Gives you flexibility. Does so many things for you. Okay, other arm. So move your weight into your left hand in my case. Rotate the inner elbow, remember. Find that strength. Find the connection to your shoulder from your wrist. Move the other hand forward, walk it forward. Tip it down so you're heeling your hands on the floor, your fingers are flexed. And then in that position, engage with your shoulder girdle and lift. Hold here, start to flex and bend. So concentrating on that movement, concentrating on extending that hand forward, concentrating on using your shoulder to be contained and to hold that lift. And then think of the supporting hand and gently press into it. See if you can get a little bit more lift here. A bit more strength, stability. And then release the hand to the floor. Come back onto into child's pose. Pop your elbows to the floor. Pop your hands back into Asana, Hatha, Anjali Mudra. Prayer hands. I realised I said the wrong word there, but I couldn't remember what it was. Okay, Anjali Mudra, and then lift your hands up back behind your head. If your head's on a break again, that's fine. Otherwise, head to the floor if you can, forehead, and lift your hands up behind your head in Anjali Mudra. So prayer hands. You might have to walk your elbows in a little bit closer to your head. And then see if you can just move from the elbows. Lower your hands down to the floor and then lift them back up, keeping them together, palm to palm, keeping that connection. So notice where this is working on. I can feel it in my shoulder girdle and the back of my body as I move my hands up and down. I can feel it in my upper arm and the back of my upper arm. It's a bit of that, the thigh bones connected to the knee bone, etc. That also, everything works together. And if one part of you isn't strong enough or flexible enough, it impedes the movement in all the other joints around it, in all the other muscles around it. And that's why we need to keep everything healthy, including our hands. Okay, now coming up, we're coming up to lost my train of thought, into down dog. So into tabletop again, tuck the toes, rolling the heels backwards, and we're moving using our hands. So push into your hands. Elbows are still rotated forward for strength. We're rolling up the bent knees, keep the knees bent. We haven't been up yet for too long to straighten the legs too strong yet, probably. Heels are rolling down towards the floor, but they don't need to hit the floor. Big stretch on the back of the legs. So move into your hands again. Push through your hands. This is about the length of the body, not about the straightness of the legs down dog. So think about lengthening through from your tailbone down to your crown. Lift your hips up a little bit more if you can. A little bit of a tail tuck there again. A bit of God, my brain's gone this morning. That jet lag. Okay, so thinking about tucking the tummy and tucking the tail, rather than pointing the tailbone upwards into a cow back, tuck it slightly, and then lift up and lengthen through your waist. And then we're going to walk the hands in towards the feet one at a time. So slowly walking your hands in back towards your feet. This is an inversion. Remember, if anybody feels dizzy at any point, please come down to your knees, gently sit up and let yourself return to normality. When your hands have come back towards your feet, you've still got soft knees, remember, tummy tucked. We're going to walk our hands over to the right and left, so whichever side you want to go to first. Just walk them round as far as you can take them towards your heels. I'm in the fingertips, I'm not keeping my palms down. And hold there for a couple of breaths, just feeling that nice stretch through the right side. And then walk the hands back to center. And then walk them back over to the other side, same thing. So walking on your fingertips, keeping the knees nice and soft. Feel that nice stretch through the back of the left-hand side of your lower back, particularly I'm feeling it, and this is somewhere I needed to stretch. So this is great for me. I'm all right, Jack. Bring the fingers back round to the front and take yourself into gorilla. If you've had enough of head down, please come back down to all fours at any point. Otherwise, take yourself into gorilla by lifting up your left foot, the toes rather, tucking your fingers then facing down towards your heels underneath. Lift up the right foot and do the same. Pop your fingers in underneath. So your toes are now resting on the palms of your hands. Big stretch on the back of the upper body now as well. So let the head just hang. Lift the tailbones slightly by lifting the tummy. The legs might have extended a bit more now. If they haven't, don't worry, but see if you can just let your back pour out of your pelvis. Have a little rock from side to side. I wouldn't suggest closing your eyes, so as you do that, you might get a bit wobbly. And then untuck the hands one at a time. Walk them forward again. And if it's in your practice, you can either come down to tabletop and do this, or if it's in your practice, take split dog on the right side. So lift your right leg up and move it forward so we're coming down into low lunge. Carefully do that. We've not moved a lot this morning, so don't throw yourself about too much. Bring your break in then and pop it inside your front foot. It can be on any level. It can even be in the high side, as long as you feel stable enough moving with it like that. Make sure your legs are on train tracks. Make sure you've got that long feeling. You can't have the knee nearer than this. You can't have the knee nearer to under the hip if you're not feeling like extending fully this morning. So right hand is with my right foot at the front here. I'm gently pressing the knee inwards and the arm outwards. So there's a force going between those two now, just as a bit of stability here in the front. And we're just going to Robin Hood our arm. So it's as if you're drawing a bow and arrow. So we're taking the left elbow up as we breathe in to fold it behind us. And we start to rotate then. As you exhale, lift the hand up and stretch out. As you inhale, stretch away from you, do a big semicircle back down. Exhale at the bottom. Same thing again. So inhale, the elbow comes back. You push gently into that front hand. Start to use the rotation. Use that leverage of the elbow, of the forearm rather, on the leg. Exhale, the arm comes up, we stretch out. Inhale, we stretch round in semicircle, come back down. If that breath doesn't work for you, do it the way you feel is right for you. If it feels like I'm saying them the wrong way round, excuse me, then please change. One more, extend, expand, hold this one. Think of reaching up. You might not have reached that far, you might be here, but that's fine. See if you can just draw your shoulder back a little bit more and open your chest. That will bring your arm back further. Gently press into the hand that's on the support and lift up a little bit higher. Maybe you can even turn your head to look at that top hand. And then lower gently back down to the ground. So using that support, tuck your toes at the back. We're going to come up to warrior two from this. If this is too strong for you, then go back into tabletop and find your own way up to warrior two. If you want to come with me, we're using that support at the front. We're pushing into the hand and the front foot and into the back toes that are now curled under. We're pushing up, and as we do, we're going to sweep the arm in a big circle up. And we're going to have to then adjust that back foot as you come up. So bring it in a bit, rotate the heel, bring it to the floor, and you're into warrior two. So, warrior two. Front foot facing forward, knee over ankle. Back foot, 45 degrees roughly. Long edge of the foot's what we're looking for there, the stability. So roll onto it and really use that. Body is like a plumb line from the center of you. So don't lean forward. Bring your body back by using your back side body to draw you back up. Arms are out at shoulder height. Hands there. We're going to rotate the whole arm from the shoulder, so the palm faces up. Rotate the palm so it faces down. Now rotate it again using the shoulder, and then this time keep the shoulder still and just rotate at your wrists. So you might need to do that one more time to make sure that's what you did. So that's the position you want your shoulders in and your wrists in. And then look towards that front hand. And we're going to take dancing warrior. Been here for quite a while now, so your feet and legs might be feeling it. So press gently into your feet just to feel a little bit more strength there. Looking at the front hand, we're going to breathe in and turn the palm and lift it up. Dropping the back hand behind us, lifting up. It's an extension, not a back bend. So lift up the way. And then as you exhale, we move forward, windmill. Elbow comes gently, forearm gently into the front leg, and top arm comes up to wherever you can extend to. It's a windmill feeling we want this morning, so don't worry where you're getting to. Just use that flowy feeling, but watch what your hand's doing. So as it comes down, maybe then you can look to the back hand and watch where it's going. Looking to the front hand as you reach up and extend. Inhaling, moving forward, looking to the back hand as you exhale, and you reach it over your head. And then come back up to warrior two. Drop the arms down, have a little shoulder roll if you need it. Turn your feet forward now, wide-legged. Bring your brick in if you need it here, and place it under where your face is when you fold forward. So knees can bend here. There's no need to keep them straight, and please don't lock them. Feet the face forward or slightly inward. From here, the hip hinge, we're going to fold forward, and we're taking elephant trunk for those that know it. So the right hand is first of all coming down onto the brick or the floor in front of you, under your face. Looking at the right hand. Bring the left arm down now beside it, left hand rather, and then we're going to open that arm up. So follow that left hand as you inhale and open it up, bending the knees as much as you need to, just to flow with it. Drop that arm gently down. On the exhale, swap hands, move over. So right arm comes up, push into that supporting hand, lift up a little bit more. Right arm comes down on the exhale, inhale up, exhale down, one more to the right, inhale up, exhale down, sink your bottom back, maybe hold the breath and shuffle the feet forward towards each other, bringing yourself back up. Whichever way you want, come back up, you can roll up, you can stretch up, you can open up, and back up into Tadasana. I'll wait for time. Oh, I'm on time this morning, that's amazing. Okay, so we're going to take all that on the other side now. So to come down to low lunge, you can either just roll down here or you can sweep down with me if you'd like to. So we're going to open up, lift up on the inhale in Tadasana, hands above the head. Exhale, swan dive. So tuck the tummy, bend the knees, sweep the arms back behind you as if they were wings, and then bring them gently down to beside your feet. Step back this time with the right foot, so you put the opposite foot, you want to go into a low lunge on the opposite side. Remember your back knee can be wherever is comfortable for you. It doesn't need to be fully extended. Bring in your brick. I'm going to take that Robin Hood thing again. Put it to whichever level you feel most comfortable with. Remember that gentle push between your knee and your forearm here, so that you've got a little bit of strength there. And then as you inhale, draw the elbow back up. Keep that tummy engaged. Keep some support there. Exhale, open, reach up, look up if you can. Inhale, rotate it back down, big semicircle. Exhale at the bottom. 2 more. Inhale up. Really see if you can move your chest round with your elbow. Open up the front body as you lift up the hand. Look at the hand. Follow the hand as it comes back down. Let the hand be the leader, not the nose. Exhale at the bottom. 1 more time. Inhale. Lift, push gently through that supporting brick. Open up. Look up. Reach round as far as is stable and comfortable. And bring that hand back down, watching it as it comes back down to the floor. We're going to come up to warrior 2 from this. So tuck the back toe, step in a little bit if you can, first of all. And then sweeping that hand up, pushing off that brick and using the front foot to stabilize you. Coming up to warrior 2, adjust the back foot. Adjust your stance. Rotate your palms as we did before, rotate the shoulders. Rotate them both again to look down. This time we're rotating and we're holding the shoulders where they rotate to. And then we're just rotating at the wrists to face the palms down the way. And then we're looking towards the front hand. And we're taking dancing warrior again. So inhaling, watching that front hand as it rotates. Palm to face you and look upwards with it. Exhaling, flowing downwards to wherever is comfortable for you. Try not to dump into that front leg, trying to keep that lift off it. Following the hands, watching what they are doing today. Otherwise they just move about and nobody takes any notice of what they're doing. Look behind you as the other arm comes up and over your head. 1 more. It's going all lovely and misty outside. It's obviously autumn is coming. Last one of those. Carefully bring yourself back up to standing. Rotate your feet so they face forwards. Bend your knees, bring your brick in if you're going to use it. Feet face forwards. Legs are flowy, so as you move from side to side, do remember to use your knees to flex them and use them to flow. So folding at the hip hinges, long front body, fold over, find your face should be over the brick now. Left hand this time, let's open the brick to start. And then we're inhaling, we're taking the right arm up. Follow the hand, look at your fingers, stretch your palms out. Exhale back down. Right hand comes to the brick. Left arm comes up as you inhale. Soften your knees. Make it comfortable, this movement. It's a flow. It's from chi. It's qigong. So they are much more flowy than yoga. There's a different type of strength and flexibility used in their movements. It's just a little bit more gentle, but it's not completely relaxed. It's just letting everything ripple through you is the idea here. And then sink your bottom, push into your feet, come back up to standing. That man's forgotten I'm doing yoga again. That's my Paddy, my friend, is painting. Okay, standing. We're going to take eagle, but we're going to take it the opposite way that we normally do. Normally we go into it with legs first and then we do the arms. But we're going to take arms and then try to go into it with the legs. So it's a wobbly experience often, this. So let's try it first upside down or back to front and then the other way around. So take the arms out to the side, reach out from your shoulder blades, then draw your shoulder blades back towards each other on the back of your body. So there's some containment there. And then bring your right elbow forward under your left. And rotate your palms towards each other and clasp the mound of the upper hand with the lower fingers. So I'm just going to come forward to show what I'm doing there, okay? So, and then lift your elbows up a little bit so that you're really looking almost at your wrists rather than your fingers here. So in this position, see if you can now find eagle legs. So we're moving, moving into a right leg. No, I'm moving into my left actually. Moving into my left leg, softening that left knee, that right foot still on the floor just for a little bit of stability. And then we're lifting the right leg and squeezing the inner thighs and crossing the legs, trying to keep the left leg and the front of your body facing forwards, not going into a twist. You can wrap that leg if it's in your practice, but it really doesn't matter where the foot's going. It can be in a brick, it can be in the floor. So your right toes can be on the floor here. And then see if you can sink your tailbone down a little bit and lift your elbows up. And breathe. And then to come out of it, undo the legs first of all, undo the arms, have a big stretch through the front of the upper chest, and then lower the hands to the floor, have a little bit of a shake through. Let's take that the other way. Don't know if anybody experienced it differently from normal. So we're taking the arms out and we're putting the left elbow under the right elbow this time, rotating the arms, those bones in the forearms again, and we're clasping the mound of the right hand with the left fingers in my case, and then lifting the elbows up to shoulder height. And then softening the knees slightly, moving into your right foot in my case this time, softening the knees, sinking the sit bones back as if you were trying to find a chair, and then lifting the left leg carefully off the floor, squeezing the inner thighs, crossing the legs, keeping the hips facing forwards as much as you can. Foot can be in the floor with the cross leg if it helps for balance. Sinking the sit bones down a little bit, lifting the elbows up a little bit, keeping the tummy back a little bit. And breathing, find your breath, use your breath. Don't use your toes. See what's happening with your toes. I just realized I was clawing mine. So try and lift your toes a little bit off the floor. Use the foot rather than the toes. And then coming out of this carefully with the legs first of all, undoing them. Undoing the arms, have a nice big stretch through gently. Release the arms down to the side. Have a little circle again through your shoulders. So personally, I find that more difficult to get into, but much easier to get out of. So, because normally we just have a roll through your shoulders for a second before we do the next move. Normally we do the legs first, but the legs last coming out of it. So the legs are obviously your balance point there. Moving the upper body with it brings in the waddles, obviously. Okay, so I've obviously forgotten that I'm not doing an hour today. We won't do the next move. We'll just take a few roll downs and then come down to the floor to finish. I've had another couple of stick men waiting to be done, but they'll have to wait till another day. Okay, so back into Tadasana. Let's just take some arm circles. So lift the arms out to the side as you breathe in. Tip the fingertips together at the top. And then draw the palms facing each other, shoulder distance apart, down towards you. Inhale, up again, find the tips of the fingers together. Separate the hands, bring them shoulder distance, bring them down. See if you can bring the legs into this now, so by lifting up, fingertips as you bring the palms down, soften the knees, roll down just the way it's comfortable, and then push back through the feet and raise back up again. Just let's get some mobility back into the body there. Exhaling, hands come down, parallel to each other. Soften the knees. Maybe you get to lift the bottom this time, raising back up. Just make it a flowy movement. Think of all those bones, joints, all the bones and joints in you, 300 odd of them, moving in a chain to let you facilitate this movement. One more, and then we're going to come down. Not quite finished yet. Slowly soften down into a forward fold, the way you want to come into it. When you're in the forward fold, hands on the floor. If you're comfortable with this, you need to be at the front of your mat. Step back with your right foot onto the ball of your toes. Step back with your left foot onto the ball of your toes. You're into plank, or you can then drop your knees and come to half plank, untuck your toes if you do that. If you're in plank with me, rotate those in at elbows, everybody. Gently then, elbows to the side, everybody. Softly coming down, using your hands as your support, down to the floor. One last thing, untuck the toes, everyone. We're on the floor now. Hands should be in the right position, elbows tight to the side. Contract the back of the body. Press the front of the pelvis into the floor gently, using your glutes, lifting up into cobra. And lower back down. Lift up one more time using your hands and come into child's pose. So lift up, sink your bottom back, come into child's pose. Extended child's pose, have 2 or 3 breaths here. Don't need to really stretch out. Just nice long arms, but not too forcefully extended. Breathe into the back of your body. Breathe up to your hands. Feel your fingertips. Have a little lift of the fingertips as if you're playing a piano. Find that space under the palm of the hand again if you can, by pressing gently downwards with your knuckles and your heel of your hand, and find that lift in the centre. And then bring the hands and arms back in. Use them to support you as you lift your heavy old head back up. Come up to kneeling. If you've got a ball, grab a hold of the ball just for a second. If you haven't, all we're doing is massaging the hands. So looking at your hands and rolling your thumbs round the joints, etc. If you've got a ball, use it to just help you by rolling through, clasping the ball. Using the ball to strengthen your grip is a great thing to do. Rolling the ball over every joint, all those 27 joints, if you can find them in your hand. Use it in both hands, massage both your hands. And as you do this, think of everything that your hands are going to be doing for you today. They're going to feed you. They might write something for you, not often nowadays. They will definitely probably type something onto a screen and switch machines on and off. They might wash you. They might brush your hair. They might clothe you, hopefully they will. So many things that the hands do for us, just like the breath, they tend to be forgotten. And the health of them is really important. As we get older, don't want arthritis for certain. They do so many things, and one of the best things they do is hold hands and hug people that we love. We couldn't do that really very easily without our hands. So thank you, hands. Bring our hands one more time into Anjali Mudra, not Anahata Mudra. Anjali Mudra is this prayer hand seal. Anahata is our heart. So we want to now bring the Anjali Mudra towards our heart, the thumb towards the heart towards the thumb. And be grateful for these little hands and all they do. Thank you, everybody, and namaste.